Good evening, one and all. Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the International Conference on Social Work, Sciences, Respecting Diversity, Inclusion, Social Action, and Sustainable Development 2023, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 75 years of independence, and India's G20 presidency, and United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030 as part of awareness and campaigns, and also Social Work Day, Social Work Week, and Social Work Month 2023 celebrations with the theme Respecting Diversity Through Joint Social Action in collaboration with Sriholistichealthfoundationindia, Sri Research Institute and Center for Art, Sciences and Wellbeing, Pure Earth Foundation, EQ for Peace, Worldwide, USA, Raj Bahadur Venkatram Reddy Women's College, India, International Federation of Social Workers, Global Forum for Sustainable Rural Development, and various other fraternity of social work and other disciplines. So we welcome you all once again to the second day of International Conference. So before we start, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः.
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue to the second day proceedings of the International Conference. We once again welcome you all to the International Conference. So, we'll be having our first session. Today we will be starting our technical for scientific and paper presentations. We'll be starting with Dr. Payal Biswasu, co-founder, director, Institute of Human Sciences for Holistic Health, Bangalore, Karnataka, India. She will be presenting on topic cultural awareness and respectful maternity care. We welcome you, Dr. Payalji. You can unmute yourself. You can start your video and presentation.
Namaste, Dr. Ravindra. A very good evening, everyone.
Welcome, ma'am.
I'm really delighted and honored to be here. By profession, I'm a childbirth educator and a lactation specialist working with would-be and new moms for improving the quality of their life from last 17 plus years. So have you heard about respectful maternity care? It is an approach to maternity care that upholds the dignity, rights, and autonomy of women and newborn during pregnancy, childbirth, and the postpartum period. It encompasses the physical and emotional and social aspects of care and recognizes that every woman has unique needs and preferences. Respectful maternity care is grounded in the principle of human rights and equity and emphasizes the importance of respectful communication, informed decision making, and shared decision making between women and their healthcare providers and the community society where they live. It also recognizes that women have the right to choose the type of care that they receive and to be supported in their choices. Respectful maternity care includes being free from harm and mistreatment, maintaining privacy and confidentiality, preserving women's dignity, provision for information and seeking of informed consent, and involve them in decision making, ensuring continuous access to family and community support, enhancing quality of physical environment and resources, providing equitable maternity care, engaging with effective communication and respecting women's choice that strengthen their capabilities to give birth, availability of competent and motivated human resources, provision of efficient and effective care, and continuity of care. Cultural awareness and respectful maternity care are essential for promoting positive birth experiences, reducing maternal and neonatal mortality and morbidity, ensuring that every woman and newborn receive the care that they deserve. This involves understanding and respecting the cultural practices and beliefs of pregnant women and their families, and ensuring that their care is delivered in a way that is sensitive to their needs and preferences. And one way to promote cultural awareness and respectful maternity care is by providing training to healthcare providers, community workers, and social workers. This can include education on cultural competence, communication skills, and the importance of building trust and rapport with the would-be moms and the new moms. Healthcare providers should also be encouraged to listen and to respect the cultural beliefs and practices of their patients and incorporate them into their plans wherever possible. So some examples of different cultural awareness in maternity care. In many cultures around the world, pregnancy and childbirth are seen as significant life events that are surrounded by various customs and traditions. So here is a story that explores some of the different cultural approaches to maternity care. And this story has been shared by one of my good friends, Nora from Africa. When she found that she was pregnant, she knew that she would need to seek out the help of her community's traditional midwife. This midwife had been helping women to give birth for generations and was highly respected for her expertise. Throughout Nora's pregnancy, the midwife guided her through various rituals and practices that were meant to ensure a healthy pregnancy and delivery. And Nora was given special herbs to drink and encourage enough rest. And she was also told to avoid certain foods and activities that were considered harmful to pregnant women. And as Nora's due date approached, the midwife prepared a special room in Nora's home where she could give birth. The room was filled with candles, flowers, and Nora's female relatives gathered around to provide support and encouragement. During labor, the midwife used various techniques to help Nora to manage her pain. When it was a time to deliver, Nora's female relatives formed a circle around her and chanted traditional songs to help her to focus. After a few hours, Nora gave birth to a healthy baby girl. Nora's relative then prepared a special meal for her to gain her strength. Now, another friend from Japan shared many women give birth in hospital under the care of doctors and nurses. During labor, women are often hooked up to machines to monitor their contractions and the baby's heartbeat. Pain relief options such as epidurals are also available. And my friend from Sweden shared like maternity care over there is focused on providing a comfortable and supportive environment for women. Many women choose to give birth in a birthing centers that resemble cozy hotel rooms, complete with comfortable beds and soothing lights. Midwives provide care throughout the pregnancy and birth process, and doctors are only brought in case of complications. And in India, it has a rich and diverse culture. And this is reflected in the many different approaches to maternity care that exist across the country. Here is a story that explores some of these cultural practices. And this is a story of, shared by my very good friend Ria, who was a young woman at that point of time who lived in northern part of India. When she found out that she was pregnant, she knew that she would need to seek out the help of a traditional midwife who was experienced in providing care for pregnant women and helping them to give birth. The midwife have been practicing for many years and highly respected in their community. And Ria gave birth to a healthy baby boy under her midwife. And in some parts of India, maternity care is more modern and takes place in hospitals with trained doctors and nurses. Women are often given pain medications and are hooked up to machines and monitor their contractions. And in cities, there are also private birthing centers that offer more personalized care and a home-like environment. No matter where in the world a woman gives birth, one thing remains constant: the importance of supportive care. Whether it's a traditional midwife in Africa, a team of doctors and nurses in Japan, India, a birthing center in Sweden, women need access to care that is respectful, compassionate, and responsive to their individual needs. Regardless of the approach to maternity care, one thing remains the same: the importance of family and community support. This sense of community and togetherness is a key part of every culture and is valued in every aspect of life, including childbirth. Then traditional practice of confinement, which is very common in many Asian cultures. Confinement refers to the period after childbirth during which the mother and the baby are expected to stay at home, follow a set of dietary activities and restrictions. In some cultures, confinement can last up to a month and involve specific practices such as consuming special food and drinks, avoiding some few things, etc., etc. And for healthcare providers, employers, community workers, social workers working with women who follow this tradition, it is important to understand and respect the cultural significance of confinement. This may involve providing information and support to help women adhere to the restrictions while also ensuring that they receive adequate nutrition and medical care. Another example of cultural awareness in maternity care is the use of traditional birthing practices among indigenous communities. These practices may involve incorporating spiritual and cultural beliefs into the childbirth process, such as involving family members, elders in the birth, smudging with sage or other herbs, and using traditional medicines. Whoever is working with indigenous communities should be knowledgeable about these practices and work to incorporate them into their care plan whenever possible. This may involve collaborating with community members and traditional healers to provide culturally appropriate care. Overall, promoting cultural awareness in maternity care requires healthcare providers, community workers, social workers to be sensitive to the unique needs and preferences of the communities they serve. By respecting and incorporating cultural practices into their care plan, they can help to ensure that women receive the care they need in a way that is respectful and culturally appropriate. And now next comes that, what can be done to bridge the gap in cultural awareness in maternity care? Bridging the gap in cultural awareness is a complex issue that requires multifaceted approach. Here are some potential actions that can be taken to address this issue. Education and training. Healthcare providers should receive ongoing education and training on cultural competence and sensitivity. This should include an understanding of different cultural beliefs, practices, traditions related to pregnancy, childbirth, and postpartum care. Then comes the language services. Healthcare providers should ensure that language services are available to patients who are not proficient in the local language. This can include interpreter services, translated materials, and language appropriate signage. Then community outreach. Healthcare providers should actively engage with the local community to learn about cultural practices and beliefs related to maternity care. This can involve partnering with community organizations and leaders, attending cultural events, and conducting outreach activities. Then collaborative care. Healthcare providers should work collaboratively with doulas, midwives, and other community-based practitioners who are familiar with cultural traditions and practices related to maternity care. Then personalized care. Healthcare providers should strive to provide personalized care that takes into account the individual cultural beliefs and practices of each patient. This can involve asking patients about the cultural background, preferences, and values related to maternity care. Then come digital tools, which is a very important thing, can be used to promote cultural awareness and respectful maternity care. For example, mobile health apps can provide information and resources in multiple languages and promote cultural sensitivity by incorporating images and content that reflect the diversity of the communities they serve. Overall, addressing the gap in cultural awareness in maternity care requires a commitment to ongoing education, communication, and collaboration between healthcare providers and the community they serve. Now, while healthcare providers and institutions play a crucial role in addressing the gap in cultural awareness in maternity care, there are also actions that everyone can take to bridge this gap. Here are some suggestions. Learn about different cultures. Educate yourself about different cultural beliefs, practices, and traditions related to pregnancy, childbirth, and postpartum care by reading books, attending cultural events, and seeking information from community-based organizations. Advocate for cultural awareness. Speak up and advocate for the importance of cultural awareness in maternity care. This can involve raising awareness among your family and friends, as well as advocating for policy changes at the local and national level. Be open-minded and respectful. When interacting with people from different cultures, it is important to approach them with an open mind and respect. Avoid making assumptions or judgments based on cultural differences and instead seek to understand and learn from each other. Support community-based organizations that work to promote cultural awareness in maternity care. This can involve volunteering, donating, or simply spreading the word about their work. And also share your experience. If you have had positive experience with healthcare providers who showed cultural sensitivity, share your experience with others. This can help to raise awareness and encourage more healthcare providers, more social workers to adopt culturally sensitive practices. So, I want to conclude by saying that bridging the gap in cultural awareness in maternity care requires a collective effort from healthcare providers, community workers, social workers, and all the members of the society to be sensitive to the unique needs and preferences of the community they serve. By respecting and incorporating cultural practices into their care plans, they can help to ensure that women receive the care they need in a way that is respectful, culturally appropriate, and we can ensure that all women have access to high quality, equitable maternity care that meets their unique needs and preference. By taking small action in our daily lives, we can contribute to create a more culturally sensitive and inclusive healthcare system. So thank you so much, and my sincere gratitude to Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute and Care for Arts, Sciences and Wellbeing, and Dr. Ravindra and his team for amazing work what they're doing and for inviting me. And thank you all.
Thank you, Dr. Payal Biswas. It was a very insightful session. Congratulations. And it is very pertinent topic today because we have been seeing various issues, especially at maternal stages. And, the mental health nowadays, because of COVID and more of emerging single parent families and nuclear families, there is a lot of stress, lack of family support systems, especially social support systems. We are seeing a lot of issues, and especially, at the time of maternal care, as you rightly pointed out, women needs the fullest support. And we really need to address these issues. You very well presented. So participants, if you have any queries, you can raise your hand so that we can unmute one by one so that you can ask your queries and share your observations, if any. And we have our next speaker. Kindly be ready. As per the schedule, we have scheduled on the website and we have shared in the chat box. So as per the schedule, kindly be ready with your presentations. We'll be inviting one by one as per the schedule. And for those who have registered under on-spot registrations, kindly complete all the formalities and be ready with your presentations. Wherever there is availability, we will invite you accordingly if your presentation is not scheduled on the website. So feel free to raise your hand or share your feedback in chat box. Yeah, Mary ma'am, you can unmute yourself.
Hi, Payal ma'am. Actually, when I worked in a corporation hospital in pregnancy study, what and all you said, I have seen in real, where multidisciplinary teamwork. So, very great information you said, and a lot of takeaway. This I went back to 2009 where my work I did, and in John's community health also we did pregnancy studies. So it's a lot of takeaway and bought lot of memories of my work. So all the best for next session. Hope to see you in more session. Congratulations, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mary ma'am. Anyone else would like to share your observations? If you have any queries, feel free to raise your hand or share it in your chat box, or you can unmute yourself. If you have any difficulty in unmuting yourself, you can raise your hand. Okay, if there are no further queries, then we will move on. We will So congratulations and thank you for joining us, Dr. Payal Biswasu, and we wish you all the success.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you. And wish you a great success for this whole event. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. So we have our next presentation by Mrs. Aisha Azmat from Pakistan. If you are in the meeting, you can raise your hand. Aisha Azmat. Yeah. So our next presentation is by Ms. Aisha Azmat. She is MPhil Research Scholar from Guwahati University of Science and Technology, Pakistan. And she would be presenting on topic existence of several 1:1 entrainment regions in the Arnold onion diagram. Ms. Aisha, you can unmute yourself, start your video and your presentation. Dear participants, kindly follow the guidelines as mentioned in the website and complete your formalities in time. And next speaker is requested to be prepared, ready for the presentation. Aisha, we can't hear you. If it is pre-recorded presentation, you have to enable computer sound in your sharing settings. While sharing, in the sharing menu, you can find enable computer sound. Or after sharing also, you can find the options in the sharing menu.
Outlines of from Institute of Numerical Sciences, Guwahati University of Science and Technology. First of all, thank you to the organizers of this conference to share the platform where I can discuss my research work. The topic of my presentation is existence of several one-to-one entrainment regions in the Arnold onion diagram. The outlines of my presentation are introduction, literature review, Arnold onion, objectives, methodology, results, and discussion. In introduction, we will talk about entrainment. Entrainment is a type of synchronization in which the period of an intrinsic oscillator matches the period of an external time-dependent forcing, where a stable phase relationship is maintained between the forcing signal and the system. Entrainment patterns are described in terms of the number of input oscillations n that are phase log to a number of output oscillations m, referred to as n to m patterns. Graphically, entrainment modes are represented in terms of an all-learned tongue diagram. Here is the figure of some all-learned tongue in figure 1. All-learned tongue diagram is the region in the 2-parameter space of the given periodic forcing in which the frequency or period of the external force lies on the x-axis and strength amplitude of the forcing lie located on the vertical axis. Within the all-learned tongue, the period of an oscillator is adjusted to match the period of external forcing, and it has one-to-one phase lock solutions. Outside the one-to-one region, the synchronization of other orders like 1 to 2, 1 to 3, etc. are found. There is some literature review regarding the entrainment studies. The literature on nonlinear dynamics and entrainment is vast with many classical texts and a wide variety of applications to natural sciences. While entrainment of an intrinsic oscillator is a well-known study problem in dynamical system. Entrainment properties of other oscillators, including damp oscillators or non-self oscillators, have not been thoroughly investigated. Regarding the recent studies on entrainment, different types of oscillators in the vicinity of Hall bifurcation were investigated, and it was found that there exist multiple one-to-one entrainment regions, and they termed that as polygon entrainment. Result on polyglot entrainment coined a number of future avenues yet to be explored in the field of dynamical systems. One of them is the effect of seasonality, varying photoperiod of the forcing, which is the hallmark of circadian rhythms. Circadian rhythms are basically the physical, mental, and behavioral changes that follow roughly a 24-hour cycle. Circadian rhythms are found in many organisms, for example, in fruit flies, plants, and vertebrate animals. Circadian clocks are the central mechanism that drives circadian rhythms. Circadian clock in the mammals is situated in a tiny region in the hypothalamus. Now, the Anal onion, while studying entrainment of circadian oscillators besides Anal tongue, one also considers Anal onion, which is usually represented by an onion whose tips point to free and unimpeded in complete darkness or constant light. Anal onions are areas in parameter space where the system exhibits different mode-locking behavior in response to periodic forcing. For a fixed amplitude of the external time-dependent forcing, Anal onion explains the effect of seasonality. While the existence of multiple one-to-one entrainment has been reported in Anal tongue diagram, which we have discussed earlier, the existence of multiple one-to-one entrainment has not been reported yet in the Anal onion diagram. Objectives of the work are to explore the structure of Anal onion in vicinities of Hall bifurcation, to compare the entrainment regions for self-sustained oscillators, temp oscillators, and non-self oscillators, and to explain the phenomena of multiple one-to-one entrainment using dynamical system tool. Now we will discuss the methodology. This work uses the following periodically forced Navier-Stokes model. In equation 1, 2, the Navier-Stokes model represents a mechanism for circadian oscillations in Drosophila, the housefly. The variables x and y represent the dimensionless concentrations of mRNA concentration and total period protein, respectively. Here is the description of some parameters used in the model, and Ft in equation 1 is the time-dependent forcing. The square wave forcing with different frequencies is used. An onion and faceplane diagrams will be computed numerically in MATLAB using modified Euler method RK2 with a time step of 0.01, and we use these parameter values for simulation. Here are some results. In figure 2, we get the Anal onion showing one-to-one entrainment. In this figure, we get Anal onion showing one-to-one entrainment regions highlighted in green, where unforced system is in the temp oscillator and the fixed point is in the vicinity of Hall bifurcation, and the remaining panels are the time courses for X and the forcing signal for T, and THP indicated by black markers in figure 1, and parameters are K equilibrium is equal to 3.3 and A is equal to 0.01. entrainment regions for non-self oscillator, DEMP oscillator, and self-sustained oscillator. For K equilibrium is equal to 3, A is equal to 0.05. The unforced system is non-self oscillator and we have single one-to-one entrainment regions. In figure 3, on an onion showing one-to-one entrainment in response to square wave forcing when unforced system is non-self oscillator. In figure 4, we get the on an onion showing one-to-one entrainment regions highlighted in green when unforced system is self-sustained oscillator and fixed point is in the vicinity of bifurcation. Remaining panels are the time courses and the parameter values are K equilibrium is equal to 3.32 and A is equal to 0.005. Now the figure 5 shows the one-to-one entrainment regions in an onion in response to square wave forcing when unforced system is DEMP oscillator and fixed point is not in the vicinity of bifurcation. Now the discussion after choosing different values of K equilibrium and amplitude A, we found that when fixed point of the unforced system is stable low, then there is single one-to-one entrainment. And fixed point of the forced system is either stable node or stable focus, the system has single one-to-one entrainment. And we have observed several one-to-one entrainment regions when unforced system is DEMP oscillator or self-sustained oscillator and fixed point is in the vicinity of bifurcation. Here are some references. Thank you so much for listening me.
Congratulations, Aisha Azman. Participants, if you have any queries, you can raise your hand or you can use chat box to share your observations. If there are no queries, there is one comment from PN. Okay. Would you like to share your comments, PN? You can raise your hand or you can unmute yourself. Kindly rename your participant name accordingly so that it's easy to identify and call you. Okay, Aisha, actually, the video should be on for the presentation. It is mandatory so that we know who is presenting, actually, whether the participant is presenting or some other person is presenting. So this is one thing you have presented pre-recorded presentation, but you did not inform us prior in advance that you are coming with pre-recorded presentation.
But I have sent this recorded video to email.
But you have to inform us anyway. And even that also, your video is not available. So how do we verify that it is presented by you? Even now also, we can't see you. There is no video. So that's why there are certain issues we understand, because this is a multi-national, multicultural and that's why we have requested to utilize this, presentation where it may not be feasible at the time of presentation to have no video on and other maybe network issues and all these things. So we have requested, we have given the provision to record at your convenience and keep your video on and record the presentation. It is mandatory because we also need to verify, right, who is presenting. Otherwise, how to certify you? You will be getting a certificate. How do we certify that this presenter has presented without seeing you? We appreciate you have taken a very good effort, but these are certain things. So, okay, anyway, after today's conference or tomorrow, you contact us. You need to send a declaration. We will send you the formality that it is your original work and you have presented. Okay, if no one has any queries, then we will move on. We request everyone to fill up the feedback form. Feedback form has been raised in the form of polls. And we will have just 5 minutes. You can see the timing also on the feedback, which is raised in the form of polls. After 5 minutes, poll will be closed automatically. So ensure that you are filling up the feedback form through polls within that prescribed time. So anyway, after you have done very good research, but we need to follow these formalities. Anyway, congratulations. You have very well presented. So we will move on to our next speaker for the day. So before that, we are raising the feedback for second session. We request everyone to quickly start filling up the feedback form. If you are unable to see the feedback form, you can log off and log in or update your Zoom app or client to latest version, whichever your mobile or device supports. And if you are using Zoom browser client, or if you are accessing this meeting through browser, certain settings or antivirus may prevent this pop-up windows or poll windows. So make sure you are checking all the settings. We always advise you to attend the conference by downloading Zoom app, the latest version, whichever your device supports, so that you can access all the features of the conference. Only for registration, we have external links. For the feedback is taken in the form of polls within the Zoom platform. So there is no external link that can be shared. So kindly fill up the feedback form. If you have any difficulty in accessing, you can quickly log out and log in and check if that resolves. Or if you can see a polls option in the menu, you can click on that so that you can see the active poll. So next speaker is Dr. D.B. Jani. If you are available, you can raise your hand. D.B. Jani, Dr. D.B. Jani. Okay, those who are not available, we'll be removing those who are not attending on the scheduled time. Those who are not presenting, we'll be removing them from the scheduled list. You can approach us later on. Whenever there is a slot available, we will allot you time, provided there are slots available for the presentation. And those who are waiting for their presentations to be scheduled, you can share your details in chat box so that we can take it up after all the scheduled presentations. Dear friends, we request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form. So do we have our next speaker in this meeting? You can raise your hand. DB Jain. DB Jani, sorry. Do we have with us Amreen Farooq? Amreen Farooq from Amity University. You can raise your hand. Okay. So anyone else who are willing to present now, you can raise your hand and share your details in chat box. Next, we have Mr. Nagraj. Your session is scheduled at 8 o'clock, but now now we have slot available as the speaker is not available. If you are willing, you can. Shruti Bharadwaj. Yes, Shruti, do you have any query?
Sir, namaskar. You had asked if somebody would like to present. So that's why I had raised my hand.
So you can share your details in chat box, no?
Okay, sure, sir.
And be ready for the presentation.
Okay, sir.
And anyone else willing to present, you can share your details in chat box, your topic, name, designation, organization. And we request all the presenters, we have all received almost more than 80 papers, but most of them have not completed formalities. So we will not be able to accommodate the last dates. If every one of you come all at once, it is not possible. Because daily we are having just 3 to 4 hours. It's not a full day. So we request everyone to complete the formalities or utilize formalities. Daily you can join because participation certificate is different. Presentation certificate is different, and both will be issued separately as per your eligibility. So make sure you are attending every day, and those who have opted for presentations also do join daily whenever there is an availability. We can put forth your presentations. And especially on-spot registrants who are registering. Even now, just now also I received a mail asking for today's, but they are not available in the list. So ensure that you are attending daily, and whenever you are requesting, make sure on that day you are available from 6 p.m. So we have our next speaker, Mr. Nagaraj. He is Deputy Manager, State Bank of India, Bangalore, Karnataka, India, and also Assistant Governor of Rotary Club, Bangalore. And he is also a professional social worker. And he is visually challenged, but in spite of that has overcome, and he has been very successful in his career, and also he is contributing a lot to the society as a Rotarian and a social worker. So we welcome you, Nagarajji. You can unmute yourself, start your video, and you can start your presentation as well. He will be presenting on child development and social work.
Am I audible, sir?
Yeah, yes, Nagaraj, please continue.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Good evening, everybody. And I'm so happy that our social work
Nagaraj-ji,
conference has... Yes, sir.
You can adjust your camera. I think it is rotating.
Okay. Bindu, Yeshu, camera adjustment. So am I visible? You just check it. 1 minute.
Yeah.
Am I visible?
Yeah, now it's fine. We can see you.
Now it is fine, right? Okay. Can I go ahead, sir?
Yeah, please continue.
Okay, sir. So good evening, everybody, and I'm very happy to today to present about my own favorite topic, child development and social work, and I'll be learning a lot from this seminar actually, and I'm so happy and I'm very much thankful to Sri Holistic Foundation India, shhfi, and Sri Research Institute Center for Arts and Sciences and Wellbeing, Sri CASW, Dr. Ravindra sir, moderator and coordinator of this 10 days social works conference, and science respecting the diversity, inclusion, and social action and sustainability, sustainable development 22-23 ICSW. So, and all the team of the members who are giving me this opportunity to deliver my presentation about the topic on child development and social work, which is very unique and very interesting and very learning subject. And I'm very much show my gratitude to God for giving me such wonderful opportunity at this juncture. And when you say child, so children are the important persons we call papu, we call infants, we call baby, we call so many names for the children. And as a child, it is like a very important stage, and it is a foundation stage. So family and school and the environment plays very important role in the development of physical, mental, social, emotional, intellectual, cultural, and overall development of the child. So we need to have a proper caring and protection. We should give love and affection. We should give support and assistance. We should give education, health, nutrition, recreation facility, sports, culture, and we need to give good water facility and hostel facility for the people who don't have these facilities. So like this, children, when you say United Nations said children are in the age group of below 16, and a lot of definitions are telling like that. Even this child labor law says children are below the age of 14 years, and the Juvenile Justice Act said children are the person who is below the age between 18 years. So like that, children are the nation builders. We can say today's children are tomorrow's citizens. And when you say children, there are lots of types of children are there. We have a physical, mental, social types of children, like disabled children or a handicapped children. You have a street children, you have a child labor, you have a child beggars, we have a mentally challenged children, we have a socially challenged children, bonded labor children, and delinquent children, orphan children, destitute children, rat picker children. So so many types of children are there. As our Payal first presenter said, child rearing practices are very important, depends upon the culture, that is to upbringing of the children by the bathing practices, dressing practices, health practices, educational practices. It is different from rural to urban area or male to female, depends upon the places and the areas and the people. When you say children are facing a lot of problems such as poverty, depression, family problems, so many people doesn't have the family members, anxiety and slow learning, begging, so impulsive behavior, and lot of diseases. So many people are children, especially pneumonia. After the child birth only, lot of people die, deaths are happening because of pregnant mother. Caring is also very, very important. And cold, cough, fever, especially in the summer season, lot of problems are happening. Malnutrition, so many children are even having illiterate children are there. So that is why all these problems we need to solve as a people, as a child specialists like social workers, psychiatrists, psychologists, or child professional physiotherapists or whatever. So first we need to aware of what are the rights are there for children. Basically, we have 5 basic rights are there for children, like right to survival. That means children needs to be given food, clothing, shelter, education, medical care, all these things, education, training and everything. That is survival rights. And parents should be given protection, like right to protection is very, very important. So children needs to be given protection from parents, family members, teachers, everybody. And those who don't have parents, we need to give adoption services. We need to give foster care services. We need to give temporary home shelter facilities and all. And we have a developmental services for children, developmental rights we call. That is physical, mental, social, and overall development of children is very important. And right to participation, especially to the exceptional children or gifted children, we need to make them to participate in economic, social, cultural activities, sports and recreational activities. And children should be considered as a great human being. And basically, when 0 to 6 years is a foundation year for the children's life. So that is why cultural, sports activities, we need to give all the facilities for the children. So that is why I wanted to now highlight upon what are the programs available from central and state government. Like so many states have different programs. So like we have health and reproductive services, and we have ICDS, that is integrated child development services we have got. And we have also got for children Balawadi's, Anganwadi's, and Balavikas program, and a lot of training programs, Beti Bachao and Beti Padhao, Sukanya Samruddhi Yojana, especially post offices and banks are opening the accounts for 1 to 10 years, wherein they save 1.5 lakhs and they will get out after the age of 21 years, they will get around 6 to 7 lakhs amount. So, and adolescent and girl child, you got a program called Giving Cycle, giving midday meals, giving scholarships, giving hostel facilities. And we have Prime Minister Matru Vandana program, we have Ayojana, Balwadi programs, Anganwadi programs, personality care, educational facility. Education, when you say right to education, fundamental right, it is 5 to 18 years, all the children should be given education in the school. And even in our Karnataka state government also, we have got a lot of programs such as juvenile homes, remand homes, and child hostel facility. We have got child helplines like 1098 if you dial. So children will be taken care. Basco is there, APSA is there, they are taking care of the children. So that is why we just call this number 1098. So women and child development programs are there. A lot of roles we are playing as a social workers. Social workers plays a role of creating awareness about child problem, and social workers also plays role in family social work and school social work and children welfare social work. So these three areas we work as we do assessment, identification, diagnosis, and treatment of the problems. And we use all the methods like casework, group work, community organization, social welfare administration, social work, research, and social action. And we do even counseling is also a major thing we do. And we need to provide a treatment, medical treatment, educational treatment, awareness, referral service we need to provide. We need to give a lot of resources, finance facilities there, fund is there, nobody is aware. We need to search the funding and we need to mobilize the funds, because a lot of funds are available from Central Social Welfare Board or NGO granting aids. A lot of funds are available. We need to give it to the children, and we need to monitor and implement the projects, improve the child's well-being, and we need to be advocates of the children's life, children's facility. We need to create awareness about all the facilities to the parents, to the teachers, to the society, to the community, to the children, everybody. And we have a lot of training and lot of programs are there. Even in our Rotary also, we have got a teach program, that is TEACH, that is teacher support, e-learning, adult education, and child development and happy school. When you make happy child, happy family, happy community, happy society, children will be happy. So depends upon the how parents take care, like that only children will be there. We need to adjust the children to the family, to the school environment, and we need to understand the children's behavior, and we need to give child, parents, teachers relationship. We need to monitor and evaluate and improve the services. We need to develop the knowledge, skills, attitude of the children, parents, and everybody. We need to stop the discrimination. We need to teach the discipline for the children, especially, when you say the types of children, we have a happy children, we have a children with discipline, we have a children with a dependent, we have a children like all the types. Sometimes we need to give freedom also, sometimes we need to give restrictions also. Depends upon the situation, we need to take care of the children. So we need to give psychosocial, emotional, psychological support. And we have a loyal children, average children. So all the children needs to be given all the types of care and protection. So, children should be role model. Children, we should make them to achieve the task. Especially many children faces this mathematical calculation problem, and especially slow learners, we need to give extra teaching, extra effort we need to put, and we need to manage their stretch. We need to manage their, especially in the school, we need to make them to attend the schools. We need to make them to concentrate in the studies. We need to improve their memory. We need to improve the GK, general knowledge, especially when I give my example of my daughters whom I am taking care, and my colleagues. So all the care, we need to be the parents, we need to be the teacher, we need to be the guide, we need to be the directors, we need to play all the roles, multiplicity of role. When families are fighting, husband wife are fighting, children will get affected so many times. Father and mother are working, nobody is there to take care of the children. Children will be left alone, so they learn all the bad habits. Who is responsible for children to learn all the bad habits? Parents or the neighbors or whoever. So we need to give a good environment. Then only child overall development can be possible. That is why social worker have a major role to play in the overall development of the children's well-being. And finally, I want to tell social workers should be like should treat the children as a human being. Don't discriminate any child like a disabled child or a street child or an abandoned child or a destitute child. Nobody each person is having different problems. So we need to follow all our principles, techniques, tools, values, ethics, everything in social work, like individualization. Each child is individual. We need to accept as they are. We need to give confidence in the life of children. We cannot do personal determination, self-determination. We should give it to their this thing. So judgmental, non-judgmental attitude, we cannot tell this can be like this and like that. So emotional involvement also, like emotions, crying or whatever they want to share, let them share. You should allow them to share. Especially kindly take care of your children. Definitely they will take care of you when you became old. So with that, I thank the organizers, especially this kind of conferences basically make us together. And when the belongingness is there, all these things we learn from each other. So I really thank and I express my sincere gratitude and I also thank all the participants and also appreciate everybody who are here. And I need all your, I should thank everybody for spending your valuable time with us. And I have, learned a lot from you. And still, any doubts are there, I'm ready to answer any questions. I enjoyed each and every session here. Everybody is attending nicely. Everybody is teaching so many things. And I'm ready to take any feedbacks, any questions, anything you can share. I'm ready to reciprocate, learn from all the people. Thank you, Ravindra sir, and everybody for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Nagaraj-ji. You are always a role model, where we can show you as, the person who has won over the disability. And see, you even many scholars, students, even for that matter, many academicians are also struggling to present. But we, in spite of disability, also we never feel that you have any disability. No, we always refer you when we, when our research scholars or students say, "Oh, we have that difficulty, this difficulty in presenting." But whenever we see you on our platform, we all should learn from you, take a role model from you, how in spite of challenges, you have been a successful manager in State Bank of India, that is a very reputed public bank. And also you have reached a position of assistant governor in Rotary Club International. And you are a professional worker doing a lot of work. So, we have been, always looking for some or other kind of excuses. But you have turned out all those excuses into opportunities, and you really came out. And, in fact, we are very fortunate to, have you on board and to listen to you so that we can get inspired. And definitely your presence itself is a great inspiration for all, especially for the youngsters to get inspired. So thank you once again. And the participants, if you have any queries, you can raise your hand or share in chat box, or feel free to unmute yourself. And participants who are yet to make presentations, on-spot registrants, you can share your details in the chat box so that we can invite you. So, yeah. Mary ma'am, you can unmute yourself.
Good evening, Nagaraj.
Good evening, Mary. Good evening.
Actually, your incredible experience and the way you are actually an inspiration for me for 19 years. still I started your friendship with you. But really, when I go down, I'll think if Nagraj can do, why can't we do? So, and after I joined Rotary, I saw immense work of yours. So, if Nagraj can do, why don't we? Should not let down. You get a lot of confidence, self-confidence in me. Like I learned lot of things, not only academic, but the way of approaching and the way of fundraising, and the each and everything is like inspiration. Whenever I go down, I think that Nagaraj is there. Okay, he's doing, we also should do, like, and I take off you as an example. Wherever I'm in life, I will think of you. All the best. All the best for your
Thank you.
future and more sessions to come, and do want to see you every day in this session. All the best for your next session, and all the best for your future, and all the best for Rotary also.
Thank you, madam. Thank you so much. So I want to wish everybody all the best for exams, whoever the children are taking nowadays. And I wish everybody happy Yugadi festival, which is upcoming.
Thank you, Nagarajji. We wish you Happy New Year to you and your family, and we wish you all the success. So we'll move on. If there are no further queries, we shall move on to our next speaker. Before that, quickly fill up the feedback form for session 3. We have 5 minutes for the feedback form. When you are answering other questions, kindly be brief, but ensure that all your details are filled properly in the feedback form. So that you can save time in filling up the feedback. So next we have Ms. Shruti Bharadwaj. She is a research scholar from EMRC, Devi Ahilya Vishwavidyalaya, Indore. And she is also producer. At EMRC IIT campus, Roorkee. She would be presenting on language effect on the perception towards Swayam MOOC effectiveness and its contributing factors. So we welcome you, Shruti Bharadwaj. You can see the poll window. Instead of ending the poll, you can minimize the poll, or if you have filled the poll, then we can give you co-host access, because once you become co-host, you will be not able to fill the feedback form. Let us know in chat box if you have completed feedback so that you can start your presentation. Okay, you can minimize that window. and you can proceed with your presentation. Yeah, now you can start your audio and video presentation.
Good evening, everybody. Is my screen visible, sir?
Yes, ma'am, please continue.
Yeah. First of all, I would like to thank Shri Holistic Health Foundation India for giving me this opportunity, and also Dr. Ravindra sir and his team for this wonderful opportunity for presentation on such a actually a diverse platform like this. So the title for today that I'm going to present is Language Effect on Perception towards Swayam effectiveness and its contributing factors. So let me start by what language basically plays a central role in learning. It acts as a mediator in the learning process by facilitating communication among learners and for the manifestation of ideas, thoughts, and knowledge. So basically, language has a crucial role to play when we in determining how learners learn. So not only in the traditional classroom setup, but also in the online learning setup. Now, when we talk about online learning, the most recent development in online learning are the MOOCs, massive open online courses. So what are MOOCs? These are online courses that are, as of now, they are freely available for anyone, anywhere they can participate from. And they are made up of short video lectures, they have reading materials, they have computer graded tests, online forums where participants can discuss and get help from the teachers or from fellow participants. Now, these are then followed by graded assessments, certificates, and credits. Now, what is Swayam? Swayam is basically the indigenous platform launched by Government of India in 2017, where all the MOOCs are hosted. Now, Swayam supplements the formal education system in our country, starting from high school to higher education. And the MOOCs that are hosted are based on curriculum, continuing education, and skills. So they can be accessed by anyone and from anywhere. Now, the main objective of Swayam is to take the best teaching learning resources to all, including the most disadvantaged. So the courses are interactive and they're prepared by the best faculty in the country, and they're, as of now, available free of cost. Now, what is this study what is the objective of this study? So few questions that have been tried to answer through this study are, do the undergraduate students who are speaking different languages perceive the effectiveness of Swayam MOOCs and its contributing factors differently? And does the perception vary as the mother tongue language of the students vary? Okay. So the main objective of this study is to compare the English, Hindi, and vernacular language speaking undergraduate students' perception towards the effectiveness of Swayam MOOCs and its contributing factors. Now, for the purpose of this study, 9 factors have been identified, which through literature review that contribute towards the effectiveness of a MOOC. So what are these 9 factors? They are Swayam portal effectiveness, course page, video modules, reading materials, interaction, assessment, instructional design and pedagogy, learning affordance, and engagement and motivation effectiveness. Now, individually for all these 9 factors, the effectiveness has been compared. And after clubbing all these 9 factors together, a 10th factor, this thing has been come up with, that is total effectiveness of Swayam MOOCs. So in the next slides, okay, first I'll discuss about the research methodology. So the population for the present study was undergraduate students enrolled in the Swayam MOOCs, and the sample elements were the undergraduate students, and they were selected through the systematic random sampling method. Now, to start with, a sampling frame, a list of 165 non-engineering UG level MOOCs was formed, for the year 2021. And then 42 MOOCs were selected from the sampling frame. The responses received were 1348 from 1348 undergraduate students. Responses were received and they formed the sample for this study. And the responses were then analyzed using the ANOVA test. Now, to know the responses, a Likert type perception scale was formed with 5 anchors to it, from strongly disagree to strongly agree. So the perception scale was basically converted into a Google form and its link was shared in all these 42 MOOCs. That is how the responses were collected. Now, for the objective, the following hypotheses were tested. Basically, for each of the factor, one hypothesis was formed. Like, I'll just read out one. There will be no significant difference in perception of English, Hindi, and vernacular language speaking undergraduates towards Swayam portal effectiveness. So, similarly, for each of the 9 factor, a hypothesis was formed. And after clubbing all these 9 factors, one 10th hypothesis was formed regarding the total effectiveness of Swayam MOOCs. Now, these are the results of my study, as you can see. So for the first one, that is the Swayam portal, we can see that the p-value is more than 0.05. So the null hypothesis is not rejected, which means that English, Hindi, and vernacular language speaking groups have similar perception towards the Swayam portal effectiveness. And all the 3 groups have found that the Swayam portal is equally effective. So language does not produce any significant effect on the perceived effectiveness of Swayam portal. Similarly, the next one for the course page, again, we can see that the value is more than 0.05. So similarly, here also language does not produce any significant effect. Here again, the value is more than 0.05. So again, language does not have any significant effect on the video modules, and all the groups have found the video modules to be equally effective. Similar is the case with reading materials, the reading materials that are provided in the MOOCs. For that also, the value, p-value has come out to be more than 0.05. And so there is no impact on the reading materials, no significant effect on the perceived effectiveness of reading materials. Similarly, for the next one, that is interaction effectiveness, again, the value is more than 0.05. Same is the case with assessment effectiveness, the value is more than 0.05. Again, for instructional design and pedagogy, all the 3 groups have found that language, they have found it to be equally effective, and the language does not produce any significant effect on its perceived effectiveness. Then next we have learning affordance. Here again, the value is more than 0.05. So again, there is no significant effect of language. And the 9th one, that is engagement and motivation aspect of the Swayam MOOCs. Again, here we can see that the value is more than 0.05. So this is the last one, that is the total effectiveness of Swayam MOOCs, which was formed by clubbing of all the 9 factors. Here again, we can see that the value of P is more than 0.05. So here again, we can see language does not produce any significant effect on the perceived effectiveness, total effectiveness of Swayam MOOCs. So what are the major findings of my study? What I found was that there is no significant difference between the perception of English, Hindi, and vernacular language speaking undergraduate students towards the effectiveness of Swayam MOOCs. All these 3 groups have similar perception towards all the various contributing factors, all the 9 factors, along with the total effectiveness of Swayam MOOCs. So I can conclude that language does not produce any significant effect as per this study. So we can understand from this that maybe the students in higher education are mature learners, and language difference does not play any role in determining their perception towards the effectiveness. Though generally it is believed that content can be best understood in one's mother tongue. But as for the findings of this study, English language is not a barrier, since all these MOOCs were in English language. And so rest of the students who were not speaking English, who had Hindi and vernacular language as their mother tongue, they also had no problem in understanding the MOOCs. So that is why we can understand that English language is not a barrier when it comes to learning, especially this may be concluded in this for this study. Thank you so much. Thank you everybody for listening so patiently to me. And thank you once again, Dr. Ravindra sir, for giving me this opportunity, and for Shri Holistic Health Foundation for this wonderful opportunity that has been given to me to speak to such a broad audience, maybe. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Shruti Bharadwaj. It was a very insightful session.
Thank you, sir.
As of now, can you share how many languages, in how many languages MOOCs are available across India on our in Swayam platform and other platforms? Any idea? As per your research, if any such research is available?
Yeah, sir, most of them are in English, but now though this study shows that not much difference is there in perception of the Hindi speaking or the vernacular speaking students, but still Government of India is coming up with efforts. So recently there are subtitles being coming up in the MOOCs, where the subtitles are now available in Hindi and other regional languages also, so that students who have a little bit problem to understand the English language can refer to that. But right as of now, they are all in English. But few would also be there in Sanskrit maybe, or in Hindi subject. So subject wise, there could be a difference, but otherwise largely they are in English.
Thank you for sharing. And have you done any research on, especially languages, MOOCs on languages, like languages cannot be taught in English, right?
Yes.
So they have to be, presented in their own languages. So have you done any kind of similar research within that language? Any such studies have you reviewed while doing your research?
Yeah, I did come across a few papers, research papers related to language MOOCs. I have been through them, but my study is not focused on that. So, but I did go through them.
Okay, thank you. Though we are not against or in favor of any language, but
Yes,
the diversity we need to appreciate. We cannot eat chapati whole life, right? So we need to understand that we cannot just have one thing entire life, and we will stop appreciating. And tomorrow you will hate a language or a particular item in such a way that you will become insane seeing or looking at that. So we don't really understand the university and diversity concept. We need to appreciate, and India is such a diverse country where
Correct.
no nation has such a diversity, where we can enjoy, without having the same thing, we can spend our entire life. It may be language, it may be any food, or so much diversity we have. So that is the greatness of our country, which is unique on the planet. So I think, of course, there may be not statistical difference, but still there is a lot of difference. Even we have seen a lot of research also, where we cannot dream in English language, but we still dream in our mother tongue only. So
Yes.
there are some native differences, but yes, we need to focus as far as the medium of instruction is concerned. At large, we are using English as it is being common language, but it is a very good research you have come out. But we also need to encourage and focus on similar, these various other languages also, along with, Hindi is anyway promoted by central government. And we need to encourage other languages also. We had initially 6,000 languages. Now we have just official 21, 22 languages. So we almost lost many languages. So our diversity is lost. Now we cannot say we are so diverse. So it is not about just one language that is disappearing. The entire culture and tradition, the rich diversity, we are losing the diversity of languages. So maybe in this regard, because you are working closely, maybe you can also do some research on that and throw some light and bring out so that we can maintain this diversity, so that we can enjoy, different kind of languages. And wherever there is any difficulty, we can encourage this vernacular MOOCs also, so that it becomes now, there is no doubt that MOOCs are very popular.
Yes.
Everyone is using them. So maybe in coming days and with the new education policy where even other languages are also promoted. So if we are able to produce, if we are able to bring out more, MOOCs in regional languages also, I think it will, promote and it will accelerate this.
Can I
new
add something? Sir,
Yeah,
can I
yeah,
add-
please.
Yeah. Yeah. As you said, that is the beauty of India, diversity. That is the beauty of India, as you have rightly said. Now, as you are saying, government is trying to encourage other languages, regional languages. And for that, work has started in the MOOCs, like largely, as I said, most of them are in English. But now even translations, slowly we are into the process of translating the materials available in these courses into regional languages. Few regional languages have been selected so that again we can give diversity to the students. So that work is going on. Even the regarding the subtitles that I told you in regional languages also, and the material which is available, that is also being translated for the students.
Good to know that, we are moving at least slowly towards bringing out more language MOOCs. In fact, that will be an added advantage as these already popular MOOCs will become more popular, much more popular,
Yes.
being accessible to much more population, maybe student community. For those who may have this language barrier, maybe
Yes.
that barrier also can be overcome with this language MOOCs, and they will be able to soon shift to other languages also once they are acquainted. Even now also we see people, especially learners, they are using dictionaries of local language or regional language to study English or other international languages. So similarly, these MOOCs in regional languages will also help them to get used to MOOCs, and once they are acquainted, they can move on to other MOOCs also in other languages also. So in this way also it can also facilitate.
Sir, I feel these findings show there is no difference. That could be one reason, because the students that are now coming on the online platform, they have moved further. They have crossed this barrier of language or the such kind of barriers. So maybe that's why there is no significant difference available in this, because they are already on a platform, common platform, which is the online platform. That could be the reason. One reason.
Yeah. I absolutely, have no alternate thoughts about your research. I very well welcome this research because we understand the limitations of research.
Yeah.
That is the first thing when we accept the limitations of research, because we have already, direction set for our research. We have objectives for our research. So definitely, we are working towards it. So definitely, I mean, it was a very good research.
Thank you,
Maybe
sir.
further research we can take up maybe in future, or you or some like-minded participants or presenters attending this conference can also choose similar topics where they can also come up with studies. So in that aspect, I was sharing whether we had any similar studies or researchers, because this conference is also promoting, this is a multilingual conference where they can present in their own language.
Correct.
So in that context, I had, shared my observations. Otherwise, it is a very good research. In fact, this has also brought a thought, that we can also utilize more linguistic services into the MOOCs. And, by promoting, see, even international companies or MNCs like Amazon, they are also, using these different languages. You can see entire portal you can access in your regional language.
Correct.
So today, international community is also recognizing the need. So why they would invest in such a thing? Because they see a lot of potential. Even
Yes.
BBC, even CNN, why they are investing so much, even Microsoft, they are bringing up so many language packs. Why? Because there is a great potential entire world is seeing. But at the same time, every country also should see the potential of regional languages, and they should bring out, because that is the way through which we can promote our own languages. It may be any language.
Correct.
It can be Hindi, it can be Telugu, it can be Tamil, Kannada, any language. But we should make the resources available. That is where we are losing languages. Now, many languages were lost because the study materials were not available.
Yes.
We are using our own mother languages at home, but we don't have textbooks in other languages, our own native languages.
Right.
So there is no one to teach, there is no one to learn at schools, colleges. So that's how, we lost our languages. So that's why at least, if we can put some, maybe on our own interest, or if someone encourages, can add additional budget and have some good translator on board in the committee, where, we can have, like you already mentioned, we have subtitles. Similarly, we can get that content translated.
That's going on. That's going on, sir. In regional languages, they are translating all the materials that are available in the MOOCs. They are being translated and made available to the students in regional languages.
So that's a great initiative. Soon, maybe this gap will also be filled with these efforts. And congratulations to you. And also the entire team who is working in the process of translation.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Very well presented. So participants, if you have any queries, feel free to share, or if you have any clarifications, you can raise your hand or share in chat box. If there are no further queries, then congratulations. Thank you once again.
Thank you, sir.
For sharing your insights. Wish you all the success.
Thank you so much.
So friends, you can fill up the feedback form for this session. We have raised poll, the feedback form for session 4, the recent session. So anyone else willing to present, you can share your details in chat box. We can take up your session. your presentations now. Now the slots are available. There are many papers. We have received total 80 plus papers, but many are not completing their formalities. Yesterday also we have informed, and we will not be able to accommodate all because day by day we are utilizing our days. Yesterday, one day we already lost. Today also it's almost done. So we have only 8 days left, and even if we take 10 presentations per day also, it will be very difficult for us unless and until the presentations are really short. So we request all the participants to quickly complete your formalities and contact us immediately when you complete your formalities. So any presenters willing to present today, you can share your details. Otherwise, we'll close the presentations session here, and we will move on to panelist session. Once panelist session starts, we cannot again take up presenters sessions. So anyone interested, you can share your details immediately in chat box, your topic along with the details. Okay, then we are concluding presentations session today. And in next 5 minutes, we will be opening up for panel presentations. As we all know, that our nation, India, holds the presidency of the G20 from 1st December 2022 to November 30, 2023. And as part of this G20, India's G20 presidency, our nation has hosted and will be hosting over 200 meetings in over 50 cities across 32 different work streams, so that G20 delegates and guests can get a glimpse of India's rich cultural heritage and a year-long India experience. So the theme of India's G20 presidency is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, that is one earth, one family, one future, which is closely tied up with life, that is lifestyle for the environment. So India's G20 presidency will promote the universal sense of oneness among the planet across the nations. So hence the theme, one nation, that is one earth, one family, one future. The right theme for the India's G20 presidency. It's a great opportunity for everyone, including the hosting country or the presidency country. So this G20 presidency has development working group, in short known as DWG. These meetings aim to discuss developmental issues in developing countries, known as DC, least developed countries, known as LD, and island countries, that is small island developing states, in short known as SIDS or SIDS. So it is a platform for G20 member countries where they can come together and prioritize and set goals for achievements, discuss on various issues, concerns on various sectors, and prioritize multilateralism, share solutions for the problems, issues, concerns, and challenges to promote growth and remap development plans to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals targets by 2030. So the G20 possesses the knowledge, expertise, financial resources required to reverse trajectories that have gone off track with the acceleration of the technological development, which has led to the destruction and disasters and has put our planet in the verge of extinction of various species. So the initial meeting that was held in the third G20 at Bali between August 10 to 12, 2022, concluded with the discussion and finalization of key G20 agreements. These include G20 roadmap for stronger recovery and resilience in developing countries and least developing countries and small island developing states. The G20 principles to scale up blended finance in developing countries, the G20 ministerial vision statement, multilateralism for sustainable development goals, decade of action, and the 2022 G20 Bali update. The first development working group during India's presidency has been held in Mumbai from 13th to 16th December 2022. In those meetings, sessions were conducted on data for development, role of G20 in advancing the 2030 agenda, sustainable development goals, infusing new life into green development, and accelerating progress on the sustainable development goals. The delegates will enjoy cultural events and give them a unique India experience. As the events are organized across the nation in different states and union territories, it provides a wonderful opportunity, a year-long experience for the G20 delegates to experience the diversity, the rich cultures and traditions across the country in the nation. So December 1st, 2022 was a red letter day as India assumed the G20 presidency from Indonesia and has convened the G20 Leaders Summit for the first time and will be convening the G20 Leaders Summit for the first time in the country in 2023. So a nation which is deeply committed to democracy, to cultural diversity, multilateralism, and multiculturalism, India's G20 presidency would be a watershed moment in the history as it seeks to play an important role by finding pragmatic global solutions for the health and well-being of all. In doing so, manifest the true spirit of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, or the world is one family. The group of G20 or the group of 20 is an intergovernmental forum comprising 19 countries, including Argentina, Australia, Brazil, Canada, China, France, Germany, India, Indonesia, Italy, Japan, Republic of Korea, Mexico, Russia, Saudi Arabia, South Africa, Turkey, United Kingdom, and United States and the European Union. So the G20 members represent around 80% of the global GDP, over 75% of the global trade, and about 2/3 of the world's population. So the G20 members represent around 85% of the global GDP, and over 75% of the global trade and about 2/3 of the world population, which makes this G20 summit very significant, which can drive and accelerate the global trade and also move towards a true implementation of the global and sustainable development goals. As we know, as we see that the G20 was founded in 1999 after the Asian financial crisis as a forum for the finance ministers and central bank governors to discuss global economic and financial issues. It was upgraded to the level of the heads of state governments in the wake of global economic and financial crisis of 2007, and in 2009 was designated the premier forum for the international economic cooperation. So India's G20 presidency will work towards promoting the universal sense of oneness with the right theme, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. India is on a mission to bring about a shared global future for all through Amrit Kal initiative on the occasion of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, with a focus on the life movement, which aims to promote environmentally conscious practices and a sustainable way of living. With a clear plan, a strategy, and a development-oriented approach, India aims to promote a rules-based order, peace, and just growth for all. More than 200 plus events were planned in the run-up of the 2023 summit, will strengthen India's agenda and the 6 thematic priorities of the India's G20 presidency. So the G20 has 2 main tracks of engagement: the finance track for finance ministers and central bank governors, and the Sherpa track. The G20's proceedings are led by the Sherpas, who are appointed as personal envoys of the leaders of the member nations. These Sherpas are responsible for overseeing the negotiations that occur throughout the year, deliberating on the agenda for the summit and coordinating the substantive work of the G20. Both tracks having groups to address scientific themes and representatives from relevant parties. So working groups will focus on global priority areas such as green development, climate finance, inclusive growth, digital economy, public infrastructure, technological transformation, and reforms for women empowerment for socio-economic progress. All these steps are taken to accelerate progress towards the Sustainable Development Goals and secure a better future for the generations to come. So what's up for the G20's India's presidency? The G20 presidency steers the G20 agenda for 1 year and hosts the summit. So the G20 consists of 2 parallel tracks, as already mentioned, the finance track and the Sherpa track. So they will be meeting throughout the year and develop their issue notes and outcome documents in parallel. These substantive discussions will then feed consensus-based recommendations to the Sherpa meetings as well as to the financial track. Both they will be working parallelly, organizing various discussions and coming with outcome documents. The outcome document of the Sherpa level meetings eventually forms the basis of leaders' declaration, which will be debated and signed and if consensus is reached at the final New Delhi summit in September this year by the leaders of all G20 member nations. So in addition, there are engagement groups which bring together civil societies, parliamentarians, think tanks, women, youth, labor, businesses, and researchers of the G20 countries. The Startup 20 engagement group will be established under the India's G20 presidency for the first time, recognizing the role of startups in driving innovation that responds to a rapidly changing global scenario. Active consultation with the engagement groups form an integral part of India's inclusive, ambitious, decisive, and action-oriented G20 approach as outlined by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji in the Bali summit in 2022. So India holds the presidency now since December 1st, 2022 until November 30, 2023. The 43 heads of delegations, the largest ever in G20, will be participating in the final New Delhi summit in September this year. As we can see from the G20 logo, draws inspiration from the vibrant colors of India's national flag: saffron, white, green, and blue. It juxtaposes planet Earth with the lotus, India's national flower that reflects growth amid challenges. We see that the lotus is always seen growing in dirty waters. So in spite of adversities, in spite of challenges, we see the pure lotus flower blooming from the mud and the dirty water and the environment. Similarly, our environments, our situations should never determine our outcome, our future, our destiny. In spite of various challenges, in spite of various obstacles, we need to reflect our growth amid challenges. The Earth reflects India's pro-planet approach to the life, one in perfect harmony with nature. Below the G20 logo is Bharat, written in Devanagari script. And the theme, which is of India's G20 presidency, also, as already mentioned, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. It is one earth, one family, one future, is drawn from the ancient Sanskrit text of Maha Upanishad. Essentially, the theme affirms the value of all life, human, animal, planet, and microorganisms, and their interconnectedness on the planet Earth and in wider universe. This theme also spotlights lifestyle for environment, in short, known as life, with its associated environmentally sustainable and responsible choices, both at the level of individual lifestyles and as a nation development, leading to globally transformative actions, resulting in a cleaner, greener, and brighter future. For India, the G20 presidency also marks the beginning of Amrit Kaal, the 25-year period beginning from the 75th anniversary of India's independence on 15th August 2022, leading up the centenary of its independence towards a futuristic, prosperous, inclusive, and development society distinguished by a human-centric approach at its core. So the new working group on disaster risk reduction under the India's presidency to encourage collective work by the G20 undertake multidisciplinary research and exchange best practices on disaster risk reduction. And India's special inviting guest countries are Bangladesh, Egypt, Mauritius, Netherlands, Nigeria, Oman, Singapore, Spain, and UAE. And it also invited international organizations like United Nations, IMF, World Bank, World Health Organization, World Trade Organization, International Labour Organization, FSB, OECD, AU Chair, NEPAD Chair, Asian Chair, ADB, ISA, and CDRI. So with all these efforts and initiatives, G20 meetings will not be just limited only to New Delhi or other metropolitan cities. Drawing inspiration from its G20 presidency theme of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, One Earth, One Family, One Future, as well as the Prime Minister Narendra Modi's vision of all of government approach, India has been hosting and will host over 200 meetings in over 50 cities across 32 different work streams that would have the opportunity to offer G20 delegates and guests a glimpse of India's rich cultural heritage and provide them with a unique Indian experience. So the presidency is also a chance for the G20 secretariats to provide the country's citizens with the unique opportunity to be part of India's G20 story. So thus, we all can be part of this G20 presidency talks, initiatives, events, which are planned year-long India experience for the G20 member countries, special invitees, and others, along with the citizens of the nation. So the opportunity to lead G20 comes at the time of compounding existential threat with the COVID-19 pandemic, having exposed the fragilities of our systems under the cascading impacts of climate change. Climate change is a key priority for not only just India's presidential presidency, but also for the entire world, with a particular focus towards not only climate finance and technology, but also ensuring just energy transitions for developing nations across the world. India is still largely dependent on agriculture and allied industries. Not only India, many nations are dependent more or less on agriculture and allied industries and activities. So it is highly dependent on climate. So climate change is going to have a huge impact on the countries which are largely dependent on agriculture and allied activities and industries. So in the context of cascading impacts of the climate change becomes the priority for not only just India's presidency, but also for all the G20 nations. Understanding that the issue of climate change cuts across industry, society, sectors, and nations, India offers the world lifestyle, in short known as lifestyle for environment, in short known as LIFE, a behavior-based movement that draws from our nation's rich, ancient, sustainable traditions to nudge consumers and in turn markets to adopt environmentally conscious practices. This ties closely with India's G20 theme, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, that is one earth, one family, one future. And as part of the various initiatives, accelerating inclusive and resilient growth, accelerating progress on sustainable development goals amid 2030 agenda. We have hardly 7 years left to achieve 2030 agenda and fulfill the sustainable development goals by 2030. Technological transformation and digital public infrastructure, multilateral institutions for the 21st century that creates more accountable, inclusive, just, equitable, and representative multipolar international system that is fit for addressing the challenges in the 21st century. And also women-led development. Half of the population is represented by women. So India hopes to use this G20 forum to highlight inclusive growth and development with women education, empowerment, and representation being at the core of India's G20 deliberations. This includes a focus on bringing women to the fore and in leading positions in order to boost socio-economic development and achievement of sustainable development goals. And as part of this, India has kickstarted its presidency term agenda with a series of cultural initiatives that included various Jan Bhagidari activities, a special University Connect event with 75 educational institutions from across the country, the lighting up of 100 ASI monuments with the G20 logo and colors, and showcasing G20 at the Hornbill Festival in Nagaland. Sand artist Sri Sudarshan Patnaik also created sand art of India's G20 logo on Puri Beach in Odisha. Various other events, youth activities, cultural performances, site excursions showcasing the sites and traditions of respective city venues are also being organized and planned throughout the year. So let's use this wonderful opportunity to commemorate, embrace, and participate in this year-long celebrations and year-long deliberations and discussions. So if you have any observations, queries on this talk or presentation on India's G20 and its significance, you can raise your hand or you can share in chat box. And any other presenters willing to present? So we are concluding for the day. If any participant has any queries or observations to share, or any presenter willing to present, Those who have joined can share your details, topics in chat box so that we can take it up before concluding for the day. So if there are no further queries, then we will conclude it for the day. Thank you everyone for joining us. Kindly fill up the overall feedback form for today's conference. Dear friends, quickly fill up the feedback form. It has been raised in the form of polls. And with this, we conclude today's sessions. We thank each and everyone for joining us. All the presenters, we congratulate all the presenters for successfully completing their presentations. And those who have not yet completed your presentations, and those who have not completed your formalities, quickly complete the formalities for the presentations so that presentations can be scheduled. Once you have completed formalities, you can contact us. And those who have presented but not completed formalities, we request them to complete the formalities to be eligible for your presentation certificates. And we have participants registered, but we see only a fraction of participants attending here. There is no point in registering if you don't attend. So we request everyone, whoever is attending and whoever is watching on YouTube, to make sure you are attending the sessions. The timings are same, so no need to worry about who is presenting and what is being presented. So you can join at 6 o'clock every day till 27th, that is Monday. We will be having various sessions by presenters, and you can also present in your own mother tongue language along with transcription or translation in English language so that we can share it with our friends so that they can understand. So with this, we thank all the participants and the presenters for the day, and also all the collaborators on behalf of Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for Art Sciences and Wellbeing, and also on behalf of all the collaborators and presenters and also the participants. Thank you once again for joining us on the second day of International Conference. See you all tomorrow with the same link at 6 o'clock. If you have completed filling up the feedback form, you may leave the platform. Take care. Good night. Don't worry about the feedback forms which we have missed. Kindly fill up the feedback forms which are active, because we cannot raise the feedback forms once again. As I already mentioned, this is a limitation of Zoom platform. Once the same poll is relaunched again for that session, all the data will be lost. And again, all the participants should fill the feedback form again. So we are providing enough time. Generally, 5 minutes is more than sufficient, but we are giving everyone additional time. Make sure once the poll is launched, the feedback form is launched, we request everyone immediately to start attending to the feedback form. And if you have missed any one of the feedback forms, in the middle. So don't worry about that. As long as you are filling up the first and last feedback form, anyway, attendance is being tracked and recorded by the Zoom platform. So you are available in the conference, so no need to worry. But keep filling up the feedback forms. And also, we invite everyone to actively participate, because we have every day we have a active participant, best participant award also. So utilize that. We want to give that award daily, but the kind of interaction that is happening, yesterday and today, we don't see much interactions happening. So use that. We want to give away awards also to you. So invite you all to actively interact.